How have Ferrari managed to throw away a championship-winning car, and how many points should Charles Leclerc really have? It's the question on everybody's lips following on from the French Grand Prix as another race goes by and we have mistakes again, not only from the Ferrari drivers, but from the team also. And that leaves Ferrari in a bit of a weird predicament heading into the second half of the season. They're now 82 points behind Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. And actually Mercedes are gaining on Ferrari every single race seemingly. And also in the Drivers' Championship, we've got Charles Leclerc now 63 points behind Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz now 19 points behind Sergio Perez. And it could and probably should have been so different. It seems like nothing has gone the way of Ferrari over the course of the season, whether it be reliability, strategy, or mistakes. So what I want to do is go through the 12 Grand Prix we've had so far this year, break it down race by race, and see how many points Charles Leclerc and Ferrari have actually missed out on, and how many they could have had in a dream scenario. Because let's not forget, Charles Leclerc started this season on sublime form in Bahrain, picked up a pole position, had an intense battle with Max Verstappen in which he came out on top and took the victory as the Red Bull faltered, and it looked to set the tone for the season. Ferrari are back, they're ready to fight for this 2022 championship. We picked up 26 points and had a perfect start. And that tone continued through both Saudi Arabia and Australia with a closely fought second place finish and another victory respectively, not forgetting the Grand Slam Leclerc picked up in Australia too. Not only that, but Leclerc picked up 3 bonus points for fastest laps in all 3 of the first Grand Prix. All 3 races went incredibly well and gave Leclerc a big lead of 46 points to Verstappen. But Imola saw the first hiccup in Charles Leclerc's season, running in 3rd place and hunting down 2nd place in Sergio Perez. Coming down to Variante Alta, gets all over the curves and spins the car around. Luckily, he was able to continue and comes home in 6th place, but for me that's 10 points lost as he could have finished in 2nd. It looked like Imola was only going to be a small hiccup though, as Miami saw a return to form for Charles Leclerc as he battled with Verstappen once again. The Red Bull clearly had the better car on the day though, and 2nd place was probably the best result Charles Leclerc could have asked for. Then Formula 1 moved over to Spain, and now for me, this is the start of the end of the title battle for Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. In the first 5 races, all the talk was about Red Bull and the reliability issues that they had, but Spain saw Charles Leclerc comfortably in the lead by almost 15 seconds, coming to a halt, a massive 25 points lost, and had he had those 25 points, he also wouldn't have lost the championship lead to Max Verstappen. But Charles Leclerc looked like he was going to bounce straight back at his home Grand Prix. Monaco is a difficult one to analyse for me because obviously Charles Leclerc started on pole position, but the conditions were absolutely torrential, meaning we saw wet tyres, intermediate tyres and slick tyres over the course of the Grand Prix. But of the top 4, of course, Charles Leclerc is the one that gets the strategy all wrong, dropping to 4th place and missing out on a possible 13 points. For me, on another day, had the weather been different, Charles Leclerc could have easily gone on to win that Grand Prix. But I guess that one's a little bit contentious. Does he deserve those 13 points? For the sake of this, yes, he does. Although a slightly more clear-cut loss of points came in Baku. After the first set of pit stops on lap 20, Charles Leclerc was leading the Grand Prix before he was met by a 2nd retirement in just 3 races and another possible 25 points lost. Then came Canada, which is also a slightly difficult one to judge. Had Charles Leclerc not had the engine problems in Spain and Baku, he probably wouldn't have had to take a penalty and start from the back of the grid. Arguably, considering how ridiculously quick he was, he also would have picked up pole position in Canada, and therefore it's very difficult to judge where he would have actually ended up. I'm going to accept 5th place and not give any extra points to Charles Leclerc on this one, but, you know, if he didn't start from the back of the grid, he did look really quick, so maybe I'm being a little bit harsh there. However, when it comes to Great Britain, Ferrari only have themselves to blame. It has a very similar feel to Monaco for me, in that Charles Leclerc finished 4th in a race he seemingly had all tied up in 1st place. He was leading, looking really good, and then Esteban Ocon comes to a stop on lap 39, causes the safety car to come out, and everyone towards the front pits for soft tyres, while Charles Leclerc is left out on old hard compound tyres, and he's basically a sitting duck from there, misses out on another 13 points for me. Austria, though, came as a ray of hope for Ferrari. After 5 weekends of reliability and strategy problems, thankfully for Leclerc, Austria was a fairly nice race weekend and saw the Monash driver back on top of the podium for the first time since Australia, what felt like an age ago. It was 2 wins in a row as well for Ferrari, but they just never come easy. It's never easy when you're in a red car. And of course, finally, we all know what happened last weekend in France. Again, leading the Grand Prix, again looking set for 25 points, and again, it all slips away. Leclerc coming up towards turn 10, turn 11, and spins off into the wall. Definitely 25 points lost.
No!
And I know Charles Leclerc recently said, if at the end of the year we count back and it's 32 points missing, then I know that it's coming from me and that I didn't deserve to win the championship. But going back through the Grand Prix and looking at Charles Leclerc's performances, I genuinely think he's missed up to 111 points so far this season. The majority have been through reliability. Of course, strategy has played a big part as well, and of course the mistakes that he's been so self-critical about. As I said at the start, this is a dream scenario, but the fact that Charles Leclerc could have up to 281 points in the bag this season is so frustrating. Ferrari have built a car capable of winning championships, and in Charles Leclerc they've got a driver who is ready to start winning more Grand Prix and is 99.9% of the way there to being championship worthy. He's probably been the best driver on the grid in 2022 at finding that limit, finding the exact peak of that Ferrari car, hence why he's been so untouchable in qualifying. But Charles Leclerc put it best himself when he said, "There is no point of performing at a very high level if I then make those mistakes." And obviously he's talking about himself, but I think that goes for Ferrari as well. There is no point in producing a fast car if it can't finish Grand Prix. There is no point in coming up with strategies A through Z if you panic under pressure every single time. And there is no point pretending everything is okay when it clearly isn't. So what's next? Well, for me, Ferrari are now out of both battles in both championships in 2022. If Leclerc even gets anywhere near the 32 points that he's quoted that he thinks he's lost, I will be very, very impressed. But I do think Ferrari have a real chance when it comes to next season. They can iron out these reliability issues and come back even stronger. Obviously, the main problem with that is that Red Bull look like they'll continue to be strong, and Mercedes may improve back to winning ways too. But at the moment, on average, Ferrari have the fastest car design. They need to take that, build on it, and show that they have the fastest car more often. Now, hear me out. They need to come into next season, and they need to be boring. Like we had with Sebastian Vettel at Red Bull, like we had with Lewis at Mercedes, and arguably like we've got with Max Verstappen this year. To make winning look easy, you have to be boring. And Ferrari, outside of Haas, are probably the most dramatic team on the grid. So can Ferrari be boring? Can they turn up to a race weekend, win that race weekend easily, make it look faultless, and go home? Unfortunately, that's what we'll have to wait and see in 2023. And as I said, this is just my opinion. These are just my thoughts on Charles Leclerc's races over the course of the season so far. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is Charles Leclerc a future world champion? And is it with Ferrari? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel whilst you're down there. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're heading into the summer break very, very soon. So if you could help out and try and push us to 10,000, I would be so incredibly grateful. Thank you so much again, and I will see you next time.
I am stupid. I am stupid. I switch off everything.